As we grow older, one of the most important decisions we have to make is who we want to spend our time with and who we want to share our living space with as we age. More than ever, our peace, freedom, and happiness depend on the people who surround us. Although solitude is sometimes necessary, the people close to us can make a big difference in our lives. However, there are people who do not help us, but rather make life more difficult and tiring. The worst part is that we often don't realize the damage they cause until it's too late. Today we will talk about 5 types of people with whom it is best not to live with after 60, even if you love and like them. Allowing these people into your life can reduce your chances of living this phase fully, peacefully, and happily. If this is your first time visiting this channel, subscribe, like the video, and hit the bell because here we discuss how to use philosophies like Stoicism and other forms of wisdom to make better decisions and live more consciously and meaningfully. Stay until the end because the final lesson will show you a type of relationship that, while it may seem supportive, is actually controlling your life in discreet and dangerous ways. Let's start with the people who extinguish your dreams and desires and keep reminding you of your age. Have you ever had an exciting plan or dream only to be interrupted by someone saying, "You can't do that anymore at your age"? This type of comment, which sounds like realistic advice, is actually a cold bucket of water thrown at your hopes and dreams. Such people not only talk about your age, but try to put limits on your life, as if after a certain number of years you can no longer dream or develop. Think about it. How many times have you given up on something because someone made you doubt yourself because of your age? Although these people usually only have what is best for you, they become enemies of your dreams. There is nothing more dangerous than letting these negative thoughts rule your life. The truth is that many of us feel that after 60. It's the perfect time to do the things we always wanted to do, but didn't have time for when we were younger. Learn a new skill, travel, write, or even get a new job. Contrary to what many people think, age can be an advantage, not a hindrance. As Aurelio said, "We don't stop playing because we get old because we stop playing." If you allow others to define your life by a number, you give up on life even before it gives up on you. Think about it. How many dreams have you pushed aside because you didn't think the time was right? Maybe you wanted to start a new hobby, tackle a project, or go on your dream trip. And when you talked about it, someone told you that you didn't have the energy or suggested that you leave it to the younger ones. These are the people you should avoid if you are over 60. Deep down, they transfer their own fears and insecurities onto you. Remember what Seneca taught us: the biggest problem in life is thinking about tomorrow and missing today. We often put off our dreams because we are afraid of what others will think or because we believe the opportunity is gone. But the only thing we really have is now, and the time to act is today, not tomorrow. A good example of this is the story of Sophia, a 72-year-old woman who decided to start painting. For many years, Sophia used lack of time, work, and the responsibility of raising her children as an excuse not to pursue what she always wanted to do. Every day seemed so full of tasks that she thought she would never have the time to pursue a new project or passion. But as the years went by, something began to change. When it came time to retire, she thought it was finally her chance to explore something new. However, friends and family said she was too old for the hobby, as if it was only for young people. But Sophia didn't let that deter her. She knew that age should never be a barrier to learning and growing. So, despite the criticism and doubtful looks, she signed up for art classes. At first it seemed like a bit of a challenge, but she soon discovered that she had an incredible talent for drawing and painting, something she could never have imagined. With each brushstroke, she felt more alive and connected to a part of herself that had previously remained hidden from her. Art not only challenged her, but also brought her a deep joy that she had not felt in a long time. It was as if she had found a new way to communicate with the world, expressing her feelings and thoughts through colors and shapes. Today, Sophia shares her work with everyone around her. Her pictures are exhibited in galleries and admired by many people. If she had been guided by the idea that her age was a limitation, she would never have discovered her creative side. And that's exactly what practical wisdom teaches us. If someone tries to make you believe that your age or anything else is a barrier, it's time to step away from those negative voices. They have no place in your life. What's important is that you surround yourself with people who encourage you to grow and explore the world, no matter what stage of life you are in. Look for friendships that light up your soul and inspire you to dream further and seek new horizons. Instead of surrounding yourself with people who try to dim your light, look for people who encourage you to grow and become even better. When you're surrounded by people who lift you up, you'll feel stronger, more confident, and more motivated to achieve your goals. Throughout your life, you gain a lot of experience, and that is a huge advantage. At 60, you have experienced many situations from which you have learned important lessons. You've learned to deal with challenges and celebrate victories, and now, with that background, you have a clearer idea of what's really important. Your mind, more experienced and wiser, is ready for new learning, new adventures and opportunities that come your way. There are no limits to what you can achieve other than what you accept from other people. Next time someone tells you that you can't do something, stop and think, is it really your age that is stopping you from moving forward, or is it the opinion of others? The beliefs they try to impose on you only have the power you give them. Don't let others define what is possible for you. Always remember that you hold the key to the direction of your life, and that key has nothing to do with age, but with your willingness to follow your dreams. As the philosopher Epictetus wisely said, life can only be understood by looking back, but it must be lived by looking forward. This means that while it is important to learn from the lessons of the past, we should never let them stop us. So if someone comes up with the idea that you're too old to try something new, take a deep breath, calm yourself, and ask yourself a simple question. Is my age or other people's opinions really holding me back? If the answer is that they are other people's beliefs, then it's time to free yourself from those limitations. No matter how old you are, your life is yours alone, and only you can decide how you want to enjoy it. Now is your time to shine, reinvent yourself, and pursue what makes you happy. Don't let anyone, including those you love, tell you that it's too late to live the life you've always dreamed of. Your story is still being written, and the most exciting pages are still ahead of you. Number 2, partners who rob you of peace with their selfish desires. Romantic relationships should be a source of support and reassurance at any age. The older we get, the more important this becomes, as we need to take care of our energy and health. If you've ever had a partner who turned love into a never-ending wish list, perhaps it's time to consider whether this relationship is really bringing any good into your life. Imagine that from the age of 65, you only want to lead a quiet, uncomplicated life. You want to enjoy every day, savor the moments of peace, and live calmly. If your relationship is sucking up all your energy, it's a clear sign that it's not doing you any good. There are people who, instead of being there for you, ask you to carry their problems and fears until you are tired. Instead of sharing life joyfully, they seem to drain your life force. The worrying thing is that this type of relationship starts gradually. At first, everything seems normal, with small complaints or requests from time to time. But then you realize that you are putting all your energy into meeting the other person's expectations. The question is this really love? Or are you just trying to meet the other person's needs and forgetting to take care of yourself? As psychologist Esther Perel says, it is love that gives us the courage to face difficulties, and the key to this is to understand a love relationship should be a place of peace, not a storm. If your partner makes you feel tired, overwhelmed, or constantly in debt, that's not love. It's emotional dependence in disguise. This can be dangerous at any stage of life, but especially now when your peace and emotional balance should be a priority. Let's look at Fernando's example. At the age of 70, he met someone who initially gave him joy and a feeling of being loved. But over time, Fernando realized that the person was demanding more than he could give. More time, more attention, more money, and even more emotional energy. There was always a new complaint or request. Fernando felt that the relationship was more of a burden than a blessing. After careful consideration, he made the difficult decision to end the relationship, realizing that true love should make you feel better, not worse. One of the most important lessons that Stoicism teaches us is the ability to know what we can and cannot control. In relationships, you can only control one person. In relationships, you can only control one thing: what you accept. If you are in a relationship where your emotional needs are not respected, and where you feel like you are always giving more than you are getting, perhaps it is time to reconsider that relationship. As Seneca said, the strongest person is the one who can control himself. This also includes knowing who you spend your time with and under what conditions. Make no mistake, being alone is no worse than a bad relationship. Choosing to be alone when it helps you maintain your peace is an act of great courage. When a relationship demands more from you than it offers, being alone can be a choice that brings freedom, because you can reconnect with yourself and also make space for relationships that will bring real good into your life. I ask you, do you feel peace or stress in your current relationship? Do you feel accompanied or trapped? These are important questions that will help you decide whether the relationship is worth continuing or not. If the answer isn't good, remember, you have every right to put your well-being first. People who demand more from you than they can give you are actually emotional vampires in disguise, and you don't deserve that. What you deserve at this stage of your life is a relationship with respect, support, and peace of mind. If someone takes that away from you, no matter how much you love them, ask yourself, is this relationship really worth it? Finally, remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. Love gives no more than it is, and takes no more than it is. If a relationship takes more than it gives, then it is not love but dependence, and this addiction can cost much more than a broken heart. It can steal your peace. The decision to seek your independence was important, not only for your own well-being, but also to help your children grow stronger. What seemed like a selfish move actually gave them a chance to become more independent. This highlights a difficult but important truth. If you make your children dependent on you forever, you not only lose their freedom, but you also prevent them from growing up and building their own lives. And if you like the content, consider becoming a member of the channel. Not only do you support the channel, but you also receive exclusive content. Click on the link in the description and become a member now. Back to content. Keeping your children in a dependent relationship can do more harm than good over time. Although the intention is always to protect and support them, overdependence prevents them from developing into independent adults. Autonomy is fundamental for every human being, and that applies to both you and your children. If your children don't learn to be independent, they will fall into a cycle of dependency that prevents them from living life as fully as possible. You have to learn to make decisions, deal with challenges, and become strong on your own. If you maintain this dependency, you deprive yourself of the chance to enjoy the phase of life when you can finally focus more on yourself, on your needs and desires that may have been put on the back burner during your child-rearing years. As Simone de Beauvoir, one of the greatest philosophers in history, said, "In old age we must conquer the freedom that youth denied us." This means that as we grow older, we must seek the freedom that was often denied to us in our youth, whether because of obligations or because we had to take care of others. This freedom does not mean being selfish, but rather having the power to decide how we want to live without constantly being bound by the demands of others. And this also includes the role of parents. The point is not to cut the emotional connection with the children, but to help them realize that the time has come to take their lives into their own hands. Your job as a parent is no longer to solve all their problems, but to accompany them from a distance and offer them emotional support without directly interfering in their decisions. Teaching them that they are capable of taking control of their lives is one of the most important lessons you can teach them. This is undoubtedly a challenge, especially if you have been your child's main support for years. It can be difficult, even painful, to take this step, but it is necessary for their well-being and development. Remember that true independence is not just about gaining physical space, but also gaining emotional space. You have the right to keep this space to yourself and attend to your own needs without guilt. This way you won't let your children down, but will help them grow stronger, learn to cope with life on their own, and find their own path. Sometimes the most valuable lesson we can teach our children is that they are perfectly capable of living their lives without our constant interference. This doesn't mean foregoing love and care, but rather taking the courageous step of trusting in their abilities. If you live with adult children who are still dependent on you, it may be time to reconsider this situation. Ask yourself, is this really beneficial for everyone? Or does it create an environment of stagnation where no one grows or develops? Living with adult children who are not yet independent can be difficult, especially when you have already spent so much time working and raising your children. At 65 or older, you have reached a stage in your life where you have the opportunity to enjoy freedom and fulfillment. You've been committed for years, and now it's time to focus on your own needs, wants, and dreams. Don't let fear of hurting your children or guilt about letting them down stop you from regaining your autonomy. As the poet Khalil Gibran wisely said, "Your children are not your children. They are sons and daughters of life's longing for you. They come through you, but not from you." This is her moment to fly, to take the reins of her own life. Your mission is accomplished. Now it's time to live for you. If you watch this video and feel like you are discovering ways to protect your well-being and the freedom to live this phase of life with more peace, autonomy, and purpose, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. By doing this, you will help me continue to create relevant content for those who want to enjoy this phase of life with more happiness and independence. Stay with me until the end, because lesson number 6 can give you valuable insight into the influence of the people around you and how you can take back control of your life. One of the most difficult situations is living with people who constantly complain. Do you know someone who never seems to be happy, who always has something negative to say no matter what? This type of attitude can be very contagious, especially if you share your life with such a person. At this point in your life, the last thing you need is to be drawn into an endless cycle of negativity. Not only does this drain your patience, but it can also take a toll on your emotional and mental well-being. Constant negativity drains your energy and prevents you from enjoying the good things life still has to offer. As we grow older, the space around us and the people we live with become more important than ever. It's no longer just about being constantly understanding or tolerant, but also about maintaining the inner peace you've built over the years. The wisdom of the Buddha teaches us, "You will not be punished for your anger, you will be punished for your anger." Likewise, the negativity of those around you can deeply affect your peace of mind, even if it is unintentional. Living with these people is not something they do intentionally, and often they are not even aware of the impact their constant complaining has on you. These people can be family members, friends, or even life partners. Even if their negativity is unintentional, the cumulative effect of their discomfort can undermine your ability to find joy in the little things of daily life. The environment we create around us has a huge impact on our quality of life. A life full of complaints and negativity is a life without color, optimism, and peace. To enjoy this phase of life, it is important to filter what enters your mind and heart. Sometimes this means distancing yourself from people who unintentionally drain your energy and replacing them with those who encourage you to live with joy, gratitude, and hope. Remember, your peace is a precious commodity, and you have every right to keep it. But there is something important to understand. If you have been trying to get out of your comfort zone and learn more for a long time, but still haven't succeeded, there may be something that you are not clear about. I know what it could be. Fear. Fear is like a snake that eats its way into you without you noticing. It makes you sick for days, months, and even years. Living like this is like being sick all the time. But I know a solution. The Stoic philosophers and modern psychology have found a way to get rid of them. I managed to heal myself from this fear. I made a video explaining how you can get rid of this evil, and it can be seen in the first comment. Click the link in the first comment and start healing yourself from that feeling of fear. A clear example of this is the story of Pedro. After retiring, he decided to move in with a longtime friend who was going through a difficult time. Pedro has always been optimistic and believed that he could help his friend see life in a more positive light and perhaps help him overcome his challenges and difficulties. Over time, however, Peter found that his friend's daily complaints began to drain his energy and enthusiasm. In every conversation, his friend talked about the economy, his health, the bad news, and even the weather, always bringing up something negative. What initially seemed like a gesture of kindness and support turned into a stressful and difficult relationship for Pedro. He tried to use his positive energy to change the focus of the conversation and talk about the good things in life, but all he heard was more and more complaining. This began to affect Peter's well-being, and he realized that no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't change his friend's attitude. Peter then made an important decision. He realized that he couldn't change his friend, but he could change the way he reacted to the situation. He decided to limit the time he spent with him, seek a healthier environment, and surround himself with people who shared his optimism and desire to make the most of this phase of his life. Pedro understood that sometimes it is best not to try to change someone, but to recognize when a relationship or cohabitation is bringing you down, and instead of continuing in the same situation, have the courage to leave it and seek peace and balance for yourself. Love and kindness are important, but it is also important to maintain your own inner peace. This situation teaches us an important lesson of Stoicism. The philosopher Epictetus said, "It is not things that influence us, but the judgment we make about them." This also applies to the people we live with and the environment in which we move. Peter couldn't change his friend, who was trapped in a cycle of negativity, but he had the power to choose how he wanted to respond. He didn't let his friend's negativity affect him and made the decision to create a space in his life where positive energy could prevail. This is something we can all do. Choose who enters our space, who we share our time with, and most importantly, what kind of energy we are willing to allow into our lives. Living with negative people is a big challenge because without realizing it, they can cause you to start adopting the same worldview as them. You may not realize it at first, but gradually you begin to see life through the lens of your complaints and frustrations. And suddenly you're more focused on what's not working than on the good things that are still happening around you. This type of influence is subtle and quiet, but over time it can drain your energy, undermine your happiness, and even prevent you from enjoying life. That's why it's so important to set boundaries. If someone starts complaining, try to shift the conversation to something positive or even change the subject. If that's not possible, perhaps it's time to reduce the time you spend with the person. You don't have to be rude or aggressive, but it's important to remain firm and protect your emotional space. Your peace of mind is something you should cherish and preserve. If you live with someone who is constantly negative, look for ways to balance that negativity. Try to surround yourself with people who share your positive outlook on life and look for activities that bring lightness and joy. Sometimes a simple walk to clear your head, a group of people who share your interests, or a relaxing hobby is just what you need to recharge your batteries and maintain your inner peace. These small gestures can have a big impact on the quality of your life and help you live more easily and positively without getting infected by the negativity of others. An important way to live better is to practice gratitude. Gratitude is undoubtedly one of the best ways to ward off negative thoughts. Take time every day to think about the good things you have, from the little ones to the big ones. This will help you focus on the positive, even when the world around you tries to push you to complain and become discouraged. Remember what Seneca said, "He who fights against monsters must be careful lest he become one himself." If you spend too much time with negative people, you will begin to think and act negatively as well. So don't let yourself lose your happiness just because you deal with other people's endless complaints. Stay close to people who are good for you, who renew your energy simply by their presence, and prioritize your inner peace. This is essential for your well-being. This phase of your life is special, and you deserve to live in peace. There is no reason to forego it because of other people's feelings or needs. As psychologist Carl Jung said, "Whoever looks outward dreams. Whoever looks within awakens." As time goes on, especially as we get older, it is very important to look within ourselves and recognize what we need, what we want, and what our limitations are. When you give other people all your energy without thinking about what you need, you hinder your ability to live fully in the present. Taking care of yourself, protecting your emotional space, and remembering that you don't have to solve other people's problems are important attitudes for maintaining balance. It is your time, and your energy is something very valuable that should not be wasted without your permission. Ultimately, it's not about pushing people away. It's about maintaining your ability to live well. Now that you have the power to decide how you want to use your life, do so carefully. Phrases like, "Don't worry, we'll take care of it," or "Let me decide for you" may sound nice, but they take away your opportunity to decide for yourself and live the way you want. Have you ever had the feeling that your family members want to make decisions for you, even though you can decide for yourself? This can lead to suffocation, even when done with affection. Stoicism, a philosophy that values freedom, teaches us that one of the greatest assets we can have is our autonomy. As the philosopher Epictetus said, "No man is free unless he is master of himself." It's important to recognize when help turns into control to ensure you continue to have the freedom to choose what's best for you. As we get older, the line between help and control can become very blurry. If you are in a phase of life where other people want to help you, e.g., for example, children or relatives, it is important to be aware of the fact that this help may sometimes start making decisions for you. This can concern very important areas, such as your health, your finances, or even simpler issues such as where you live or how you spend your time. When this happens, you may feel like your autonomy is being taken away, which can be a painful and frustrating experience. And this is even more critical when you are fully capable of making decisions and taking care of yourself. Even if the intentions of those offering you help are good, it is important that you maintain control over your life and the decisions surrounding it. Getting support is wonderful, but the help must be respectful and collaborative so that you can continue to make decisions about the most important aspects of your life. Don't let anyone, even if they have good intentions, take control of your destiny. It's not about following the majority or simply giving in to what others think is best for you. The most important thing is that you do not allow yourself to be influenced by circumstances or decisions that do not correspond to your own desires and values. This means that you should strive to have clear and honest conversations with the people around you. If you feel, for example, that your children are trying to make too many decisions for you without consulting you or respecting your desire to continue to be independent, it is important to set boundaries. These boundaries are not intended to exclude support, but to show that while you appreciate your children's help and thank them for it, you are still capable of making your own decisions. Well-established boundaries help maintain your autonomy so that others understand that while they want the best for you, it is important to respect your right to make decisions about your own life. The relationship should be a partnership. You help, you decide. Not only does this protect your independence, but it also strengthens relationships as people around you better understand your desire to maintain control of your life without losing their help and affection. Once you find this balance, you can live by your own values while enjoying the support of those who care about you. It is also a time to think about how you want to live at this stage of your life. Old age is an opportunity to reconnect with your own decisions and what is important to you. Do you want your days to be dictated by the decisions of others, or do you prefer this phase to be an opportunity for freedom to live according to your own wishes and desires? The philosopher Seneca reminds us that the most important thing in life is to enjoy what we have in the present. Enjoying the present moment, the things you have achieved throughout your life, is only possible when you still have control over your own decisions. It is not about rejecting the help of others, but about remembering that you are the only person who can decide what is best for your life. Accepting support is a wonderful thing, but it should not mean giving up your autonomy. Helping is one thing, but shaping your life should always be your choice. Never forget that this is your moment, a unique and precious chapter in your life. You deserve to live it on your own terms, without feeling like someone else is taking control of what is yours. Your dignity and respect for your independence are treasures that are non-negotiable and cannot be diminished. No matter how old you are, you have the right to decide the direction of your life. It's natural to want and even need support, but don't let the kindness of others become your control. Be grateful for the love and care you receive, but always remember that ultimately, you are the captain of your own ship. Your life is yours, and that never changes, regardless of your age. As you cross the 60-year mark, you enter a period rich in opportunity where you have the freedom to make choices that bring you joy and fulfillment. This is the time to rediscover yourself, forge your own path, and enjoy everything life has to offer, surrounded by people who genuinely love you and respect your path. In this text, we have talked about the people and behaviors that you should avoid at this stage of life, as they can affect your well-being, your inner peace, and your autonomy. These are the most valuable things you have. Sometimes living with people who don't respect your boundaries or try to impose their own opinions on you can be more stressful than we think. However, remember that reaching the age of 60 or older is not just about getting through the days. What really matters is living a fulfilling life and making choices that empower you, promote your freedom, and give you moments of serenity. The wisdom to decide how you want to live your next few years is essential to your well-being. Surround yourself with people who respect you, who help you grow, and most importantly, who promote your peace of mind. Of course, making these decisions won't always be easy. Sometimes you will have to let go of relationships that are no longer compatible with your new phase of life. But remember, these choices can mean the difference between a life full of frustration and a truly rich life full of meaning and fulfillment.